Right, so we have a slightly different job today. We have Belle here. And Belle here is my apprentice's favourite toy. And I'll tell you why. We have a little on-off thing on the ear here. That triggers a little voice recognition module that's supposed to respond to a story that you play on CD. Well, we've since converted that to MP3, which still works just fine. However, this thing seems to respond to my voice from a mile away, and that means my apprentice always wants me to say lovey-dovey things to this, so it grunts and howls and woofs. So, of course, there's no getting out of it. It's apparently got wet at some point, and now I have to fix it. I might add, this is not the first time. So I actually have removed the batteries already, which are in an incredibly woeful state. Yet again, these were actually quite good batteries. Quite expensive ones too, because I wanted them to last. So it seems like I may even have to replace this battery pack entirely with something else. Preferably more waterproof. So yeah, I'm going to investigate further. A compounding issue of these tri-wing screws in here, which I do have tri-wing drivers. There's nothing small enough to fit these. So a flat blade driver may defeat these. We'll find out. Okay, we have disemboweled Belle, and the innards don't look pleasant. I should add, this is not the first time I've been in here. The first time to be in here was to bridge out this little switch. This was a travel switch designed to keep it in demo mode in the package, for which I chopped the little pins off here and effected a bypass so that it would permanently stay, because there was some corrosion on that board that was causing it to permanently stay in demo mode. And there's also a number of wires up here, so I think once and for all I'm probably going to just rip this entire on-off switch circuit out, and probably the battery bay entirely, and probably reverse engineer how this circuit works, because I'm sick to death of cleaning out this bloody board. Yeah. Alright, let's move on. So I've just had my handy dandy meter out here. Found that two of these batteries are at 1 volt, and this guy is at 0.25 volt, which looking at the way this circuit is laid out, it's not like one of these fancy toys that's tapping off different voltages from different cell combinations. They're all in series, so I'd say one cell has died, and that's part of what slowed it down, but I think probably water damage has a lot to do with it. Right, so we've removed the battery pack entirely. Now we're looking at the circuit board, which is made by Hallmark, apparently. Hallmark DS, I'm not quite sure of that. And our blue wire here is obviously the tri-me wire. And then we've got battery terminal and battery positive and a ground. So we need to flip this board over. There's a resistor here too, which I think is interesting. We need to work out how that tri-me switch is connected. So our blue wire goes in there, and our blue wire comes out here. It looks like it goes across these switch terminals back to here, and I believe that's our resistor. So when they're open circuit, that resistor is across something. That resistor is across the switch back to ground. So I think when you turn it off, it engages the resistor across there. That could be one of these famous battery wasting resistors that I've heard about, that gets put in and on request from the battery companies so that these things use more batteries, but I'm not sure. So let's, I might need to map this circuit out and find out what's going on here. Okay, so we've managed to track the circuit here. And if I can grab this off camera here, we'll see here that our positive goes straight to the common on the switch. And it's switching either between battery or switching a 330 ohm resistor back to ground. So I think that might be just a bleed resistor. I'm not quite sure why, but it's certainly not wasting battery, which is nice. And the tri-me switch is just simply grounded through that switch. very, very simple. So it means I can pretty much wipe out most of that circuit and just give 4.5 volts through. And I'm willing to bet that this circuit probably was designed to run on 5 volts. So I can probably feed it 5 volts safely from a lab supply and see if it fires up, just to see if it's worth going any further down this track. Okay, we're going to need 5 volts out of my desk distribution board, which there's several videos of the build on this. So I've got 5 volts. We have 5 volts heading into here. I hope I've got the colours right. Let's go and see if our patient is alive.
Belle is ready for you to read her story to her.
Now, I don't really want to do this on camera, but I want to see if it works. I love you, Belle. See what I mean? This thing only responds to me. Alright, well, I think the top half of it's working well. I think we just need to figure out a new battery pack. Alright, so my tripod's MIA at the moment, so I'm just going to demonstrate what I'm going to do. For now, as it's a school day tomorrow and my apprentice wants to take this with her, I'm going to have to effect a temporary repair. Now, I don't have any three-way battery packs that I can use, and I don't have time to 3D print one. So I found some very, very cheap AAA batteries. I'm going to sand the tips and I'm going to solder these together in a pack. Not really recommended, but we're going to do it anyway. Alright, I should just repeat again that what I'm about to do here is strictly not a recommended practice. You can very much injure yourself soldering direct to battery cells. And for rechargeables there are little spot welders for this, but I'm fairly familiar with these battery cells. It is still a dangerous way to do this. But you'll also notice I've got my fume vent on the ready, aside from the lead fumes, as I'm using lead solder here. It's just generally good practice to vent fumes, especially if you have a little battery explosion. I'm using some good little silicon cable here as well, because I've got an excess of the stuff, but it bends very easily, so I can get this exactly where I need it. There we go. So I'm just making a series string of cells here. Alright, so this one will form our negative output from the battery, and then we'll hook these two across and that'll be our positive output, forming a 3-cell series string, just for all those S's, those sensual S's, when describing a 3-cell series selection of cells. Alright, almost done here. Still haven't found my tripod. There's a blob of blue tack holding the camera in place at the moment, so that I can use 2 hands here and do the lengthy bit. I may even fit the original switch back onto this so that we can shut the thing up when she gets home. And so here we go. Well, that wasn't quite right, but I got hot fingers there for a minute. Alright, I'm going to need some pliers. Anyway, I'll finish this off and I'll show you the end result once we're done. Alright, well this is far from a perfect solution and probably a little more insulation tape than I'm comfortable with. But if we flick our switch on and we go over to our patient.
Belle is ready for you to read her story to her.
Very American Belle, but it works. And we turn that off and we can push the ear all we want. Okay, that should work for a day. And after that point I will be finding a battery pack to replace the old one with. And I have also recycled the switch. But let's put this all back together. Okay, we've got some sample sounds that I've ripped off the CD that came with this. So we're going to...
Belle is ready for you to read her story to her.
I'm sorry, Belle, we're not going to read a story to you, we're going to play a sound.
This did not make Belle very happy. Seeing Sophia so upset,
Let's turn shuffle off here.
and that made Belle smile. I love you.
And then there's this one that we all know.
I love you, Belle. I love you.
It's not going to respond to that.
Belle was one pretty puppy.
Okay, that's working all right.
Seeing Sophia so upset did not make Belle very happy.
Okay, and
Belle, can you say thank you? It's time to get beautiful. It's time to get beautiful.
anyway, so most of Belle is functioning again. Certainly suitable enough for now, and then at some point we're going to need to pull the electronics out and give this one a very thorough wash. It's been well loved. Anyway, I'm going to call this one quits, because apparently it's time to go and get beautiful.